So, the ongoing struggle for power and influence between Steve Bannon and Elon Musk took a most interesting turn, as you're about to see in our breaking report from the New York Times today. To quote Gorilla Monsoon, you'll see there's no love lost between these two individuals. Well, that was most evidence, really during this interview just last week with Piers Morgan.
Elon Musk, he's the new first buddy, as people are calling him. And he's part of the broligarchy. You've been pretty scathing of Mr. Musk. I think you said he's a truly evil guy, a very bad guy. I made it my personal thing to take this guy down before because he put money in. I was prepared to tolerate it. I'm not prepared to tolerate it anymore. I will have Elon Musk run out of here by Inauguration Day. He won't have full access to the White House. He'll be like any other person. Well, he's not been kicked out yet from the circle. Do you still believe what you said then?
It doesn't have full access to the White House. They're
that's
across
true.
The street.
No, that's true, yeah.
Well, it seems that since that interview, it kind of looks like Elon Musk not only has full access to the White House, but may also be taking full advantage of the new Oval Office daycare program.
X, are you okay? This is X, and he's a great guy, high IQ.
The monthly payments drop. That's a fantastic scenario. I mean, imagine they're going down the grocery aisle and the prices from one year to the next are the same.
Quick shout out to those who would take care of other people's kids. That's God's work. Hey, and maybe that's what's gotten under the voluminous skin of Steve Bannon. While he was certainly conciliatory, as much as Bannon can be, on Piers Morgan last week, the words that he'll use on the other side of this clip in our featured report from Maggie Haberman at the New York Times, those will be brutal remarks that are decidedly less soft-spoken than these were previously.
The enemy of my enemy is my friend. I don't have to be in love with every person I'm fighting with in a trench, right? As long as they fix bayonets, the top thing. And we're going to have huge disagreements. But right now, we have an apparatus we have to take down, the administrative state, the deep state, plus the lords of easy money on Wall Street. We got a long fight and a tough fight ahead of us. He has actually been helpful in certain areas, and in those areas, President Trump appreciates that. And also, President Trump is trying to balance in a major industrial power all elements of it. So, he's got his hardcore, fervent, grassroots, populist national, which our show plays to the grassroots leaders, this kind of cadre. But President Trump's going to balance it, and President Trump gets to choose, just like in the cabinet. He gets to choose Bobby Kennedy. He gets to choose Tulsi Gabbard. He gets to choose Kash Patel, and we back those plays. He gets to choose who the first buddy is.
Well, that may be, but the word Steve Bannon would choose to use in a recent interview paints a slightly more scathing picture of Elon Musk and his dangerous influence over Trump. Or as Maggie Haberman reports in today's New York Times, Bannon calls Musk a parasitic, illegal immigrant. Stephen K. Bannon, President Trump's former White House chief strategist, has renewed his feud with Elon Musk, the richest man in the world, and a top Trump advisor, calling him a parasitic, illegal immigrant. In an interview published online on Tuesday, Mr. Bannon made the comments in an interview with Unheard, a British news site, that took place last week. Musk is a parasitic, illegal immigrant. He wants to impose his freak experiments and play act as God without any respect for the country's history, values, or traditions. Mr. Bannon told the interviewer he appeared to be referring to news reports that Mr. Musk, who was born in South Africa and who has become an aggressive voice against undocumented immigrants, overstayed his visa as he built a company in the United States. Mr. Musk has denied the accusation. Mr. Bannon has repeatedly criticized Mr. Musk, calling him a truly evil person before the inauguration last month, and vowing to prevent him from having full access to the White House. But Mr. Musk, who initially irritated Mr. Trump with his omnipresence at Mr. Trump's private club Mar-a-Lago during the presidential transition, has made himself invaluable to Mr. Trump as an internal enforcer of executive orders and efforts to aggressively cut spending and reduce the size of the federal workforce. That has made Mr. Musk a particular target of Democratic elected officials and critics of Mr. Trump, drawing some of their fire away from the president who empowered him. It's pretty evident that the president's using him as an armor-piercing shell that's delivering blunt force trauma against the administrative state, Mr. Bannon said in the interview, but he also described Mr. Musk's work as performative and complained that Mr. Musk had not focused on the Pentagon, with which Mr. Musk's private companies have many contracts. Mr. Trump has suggested Mr. Musk will look at some point at the Pentagon spending. Despite his dramatic and fractious departure from the White House in 2017, Mr. Bannon became close with Mr. Trump again in the final year of Mr. Trump's first term. Mr. Bannon, still a close ally and more significantly a popular figure within the Trump movement. His show, War Room, is watched closely by a number of Trump allies, as well as the president himself. While Mr. Bannon has endorsed some of the efforts that Mr. Musk's so-called Department of Government Efficiency group is taking, he's condemned Mr. Musk as not pure to the movement that propelled Mr. Trump back into office. Mr. Musk has generally avoided responding to the jabs Mr. Bannon has made over the last few months. 2 weeks ago, he posted on X, his social media website, an insult he's used about a number of people in private discussions since joining Mr. Trump's team. Bannon is a great talker, but not a great doer, Mr. Musk wrote. What did he get done this week? Nothing. Neither a White House representative nor Mr. Bannon immediately responded to a message about the interview. So, loath as I am to acknowledge anything good from Steve Bannon, he has kept the heat on Musk. And in doing so, he's exposed his motives, he's exposed his shortcomings, he's exposed his oligarchical tendencies. Gee, you'd think from all that exposure, the South African white supremacist should grab a little sunblock before the new health secretary bans it forever.